Your personality is not a disease. If you're watching this and you're in a place where you feel that your personality is a disease, it only means one thing. You're in the wrong environment. I'll use an example. Fish out of water. So if you're a fish, okay, and for some reason, because the mood should strike you, because we've all seen fish jump out of water. You ever wonder why? Is it to catch a fly off the water? It could just easily just suck it out from the surface. Maybe it's doing it for fun. Maybe it's because it wants to exist beyond its environment, if only for a moment. What happens when a fish jumps so high out of water that a boat speeding along happens to happen underneath it and then it lands in the boat? What does a fish do immediately? Instinct. There's no rationale beyond I have to survive or I'm going to succumb to my fate, which is probably most likely dinner. Okay? A fish doesn't spend a waking moment rationalizing, well, this could work for me. Because it's immediately clear that they're going to die. Okay? They're in that environment. The fisherman, while this is happening, in this clear mental state of this fish, the fisherman's deciding, whoa, a fish. I was just going to try and catch you on a hook, but this is perfect. Just drive back home. Honey, I got dinner. But it's not a survival moment for the fisherman, so he can use rationale, a much slower mental process. Decide, shall I be merciful? Shall I be sportsmanlike? So I'll put the fish back in. That was his mistake, but it was, wrong place at the wrong time. I'm a fisherman, so when I catch this fish, it's because I caught it. While you're all thinking this, the fish is dying. Okay, it's starving for breath. The heat of the hull is stinging its every touch. In that moment, 5 seconds ago, that fish was fine. Its personality was fine. In the boat, its personality was a disease. Because you can't survive. Okay? The fish will succumb eventually, not only because of the oxygen, but because it realizes I'm a disease. My personality is a disease in this environment, and I can't escape. I look now to the great fisherman god, one that breathed air, to decide my fate. Clearly, instinct has told me there is no way out. So now I have to depend on something else to save me. Either way, I'll meet my fate. I accept this. So now let's meld the two. A human rationale mated with the instinct of a fish in that environment. So now the fish has the rationale of a human. So it's ow, 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 because it's thinking while it's trying to survive. It's wasting precious time to figure out, how do I survive now? How do I survive? I know, I'll grow lungs. Okay, because that's at least helped me survive long enough to think my way out of this. Guess what? While you're thinking that, the human's already decided your fate. The fisherman's already decided. But by the time he decides, you've already grown lungs. So imagine a fish with human lungs, or at least lungs that now is adapted to surviving in the atmosphere. I'm gonna be a sportsman. I'm gonna be a sportsman. You know, poor fish. Give him a chance. Here you go, fishy. So now the fish, who is perfectly tuned to live underwater, has lungs. So the only way now it could survive is to exist on the surface. You ever seen those fish after you let them release them for far too long, like when they're dying? Just their mouths are just resting on the surface. So now it's really fucked because it's supposed to be in its home environment, but it can't breathe. It can only breathe air. Your personality is not a disease. It's just an indication that you are in the wrong environment. That's it. That's it. But it's not a survival moment in the sense that, I'm going to die. It's in the sense of, how am I going to make a living? How am I going to make a living? How am I going to support my family? How am I going to want to buy the things that I need and want? So you rationalize. You think, okay, I'll kind of do this and that and this and that. And before you know it, you're a mutation. You don't have a home. Your home's not in the water because you'll drown, and your home's not on the boat because you're not productive. What can you contribute to a fisherman? Flip-flopping like this, or just like an idiot. There are many people that find themselves in this situation because we're not connected to our instinct. There are infinite layers of rationale that dilates our focus. In the moment, and in all moments, saying, all I can do is hope that someone will help me at this point because I'm drowning in air. And there comes a point when people decide, is it part of their life strategy to help the fish or to leave it be? Most often, people try and help, but the problem is that it's not communicated effectively. How does a human talk to a fish? It only knows one way. Okay, you can't rationalize with a fish, but guess what? You can do something about it. Club it over the head, or release it back into its natural environment quickly. There comes a point when you have to decide, yeah, we're all individuals, we're all ourselves, but that's not the intangible truth here. With great power comes great responsibility. If you ask for that responsibility, then you ask to make tough choices all the time. And that wears you down to a point where it says, I need this to exist. I'm sorry, this fish has to figure it out for himself. And then whatever the fish decides, or what is ever decided for it, I'll proceed. I may make it my dinner. So, a fish out of water. Okay? It's just a further mutation of that saying. Your personality is not a disease. It's not a disease to be medicated if the intent is to find your natural home. If you're heading back to your unnatural home, then yeah, you're a disease. You're a disease to yourself, and you're a disease to everyone around you. So hopefully, I find my way back to an environment that is compatible